I was actually kidnapped and was forced to do things against my will. When I was taken to the hospital for the exam, he was notified at work, and he didn't even show up.
Joshua Vitulano was selling magazines door to door when he met Jennifer, a single mother with 3 children. The two hit it off and quickly tied the knot, and their marriage has been one big page-turner ever since. But 5 years later, they are ready to cancel their subscription.
You see, Jennifer likes to exaggerate and lie about certain things.
I'm expected to cook, I'm expected to clean, I'm expected to do everything else.
You know you're a little bit of a jerk, right?
Tensions run high as Judge Lynn takes on a sensitive issue.
Mr. Vitulano, was your wife sexually assaulted?
Yes, ma'am, she was.
And how did you respond to that?
Today on Divorce Court.
Come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lynn Toler presiding.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Jennifer Vitulano and Joshua Vitulano. The two of you have been married for 5 years. You do not, however, want to be married anymore. Mrs. Vitulano, you are asking for a specific sum of money from your husband, and we will get to that momentarily. But before we do, I'm going to start with you, Mrs. Vitulano. Why are we here in divorce court today?
Well, Your Honor, I might be legally blind and hard of hearing, but I do have enough senses to know that I'm done with Josh and all the high school drama that he's been putting me through.
High school drama?
Yes, ma'am. And Josh, I mean, I do love you. You are my best friend, but I'm done. I can't deal with this no more, and I'm going to walk after today if you don't listen.
Oh, see there? You shot yourself right in the foot. Now he knows that he can keep you. Because you said, if you don't change after today, you can't turn your back, go towards the door, and look over the shoulder to see if he's following. You got to keep going, or he's not going to believe you're going to leave. And I don't believe you're going to leave. But and I know some women bring their husbands here as a wake-up call. And if he needs a wake-up call, I'll ring him up. But you showed your hand there. But Mrs. Vitulano, why don't you tell me something about your marriage? Bring me up to speed on how we got here.
Well, first thing is his anger. Like, he has a lot of anger issues. Case in point, he requires that I cook him dinner. Okay, there was one time he was actually on the phone, okay? And I was just simply asking him, are you hungry? Would you like a tuna fish sandwich? Just a tuna fish sandwich. And he looked at me, he was looking at me the whole time, and I said, are you hungry? Would you like a sandwich? No response, nothing. I asked him several times, and he didn't respond. Finally, he got mad and decided to tell me off, curse me out, whatever. And at that point in time, he started taking my things. This was the 4th of July. And he started taking my things and throwing it out the door. Like, he literally took all my stuff and was throwing it out in the lawn. Like,
this is a horrible story here, Judge. Let me explain to you what actually happened here.
Okay.
I was on the phone with my boss, and Jennifer here is very insecure, and she was absolutely positive that I was sleeping with my boss. I had recently been given a promotion because of performance issues, and she was sure that the reason I got this promotion
because you were sleeping with the boss.
Because I was sleeping with my boss, yes. So I was on the phone with my boss, and she continued to interrupt me to gain my attention. She wanted me to talk to her instead of talking to my boss.
Josh, why don't you get the story right?
This is the correct story.
You only had the job for less than a month.
This isn't going to work out. Not going to work out at all. You don't talk when he's talking. He won't talk while you're talking. And neither one of you going to say a word when I'm talking. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what the rules are. Now, I've gotten both sides of that story. Not quite sure which one is true because I don't know you well enough. Why don't you tell me another instance that demonstrates why you've brought him here today?
Another instance? Okay. Not but a couple days after he threw me out, I was staying with a friend of mine.
Why did he throw you out?
He threw my clothes out. Literally, the whole incident.
Oh, the tuna fish incident? Okay.
Yeah, the tuna fish incident. But I'd say 2 days max. I actually was walking to the store, and I was actually kidnapped and was forced to do things against my will. When I was taken to the hospital for the exam, he was notified at work. And he didn't even show up. He didn't even come to the hospital. Even after that fact, he told me that I asked for it. That I was just seeking attention. And granted, I like to have attention, but that's not the kind of attention I want.
Mr. Vitulano, was your wife sexually assaulted?
Yes, ma'am, she was.
And how did you respond to that?
Well, initially I wasn't sure how to take the whole story. See, Jennifer likes to exaggerate and lie about certain things, so I thought that story might have just been concocted in order to gain some sympathy from me.
Story or no story, history, whatever it may be, your wife calls you up and says, I've been sexually assaulted.
I didn't even.
You show. Who called?
The police went to his work.
What does that make you? Huh? How small does that make you? Sexually assaulted, and you couldn't stop work to show up at her lowest point, at her most vulnerable, at her weakest. The guy that she picked above all others to keep her safe and secure doesn't bother to show.
Well, we had already separated, so.
I don't care.
I wasn't sure I even wanted to.
Are you a human being or not?
Yes, ma'am.
How many times was I there for you,
How
Josh?
can you kick your wife out 2 days later, she gets sexually assaulted, and you can't show? That shows me who you are. That's it.
When Divorce Court continues, what does Joshua really think of his wife, Jennifer?
Let me ask you this. Why would you phrase it, she's a rat who likes cheese?
Because rats like cheese.
That's how you conduct business in your house. Have you been living together for years but found that splitting up is as complicated as getting a divorce? Call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com or become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt.
Divorce Court returns with the case of Jennifer Vitulano, who is frustrated that her husband Joshua doesn't contribute more around the house. But has Joshua been pulling his weight all along?
Well, I have a 50-hour-a-week full-time job as well as doing all the maintenance work at the apartment complex.
Why don't you tell me what you find disturbing about Mrs. Vitulano that brings you here to divorce court?
Everything.
Well, Jennifer is very inconsiderate. For instance, she's a rat who loves cheese. She's already stated that she cooks dinner for me. And just the other night, she was making pasta and salad, okay? I said to Jennifer, please don't put cheese on my food. Fix my plate,
Say it
then
correctly.
fix yours.
Say it
Put as
correctly.
much cheese as you want on yours, don't put any on mine. She said, okay. She acknowledged the fact that I asked for no cheese. When she
You
was
did
done
not say
cooking
no
the meal.
cheese.
Mrs. Vitulano, please, please.
He didn't say no cheese.
Mrs. Vitulano, I will get to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me speak to him, Mr. Vitulano.
Yes, so after the meal's done, she goes and puts 1,000 pounds of cheese on the entire thing. And it became inedible for me to eat.
Because you don't like cheese.
I can't stand it. And I can't stand it even more so now. It's like she's being passive-aggressive to me.
Let me ask you this. Why would you phrase it, she's a rat who likes cheese?
Because rats like cheese, and she has to have cheese on everything.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
That's how you conduct business in your house.
Yes, ma'am.
Call people things like rats and all that kind of stuff.
Stupid.
Just get the lowest, meanest thing you can find and call it.
That's not the lowest, meanest thing that I could think of, but yeah, rats like cheese, so that's why I said that.
That's actually the
She's
politest.
also.
You say Mr. Vitulano has a very short temper and that can be very mean. Why don't you tell me about that?
Okay. I don't ask much of Joshua because he does have a very strenuous job. I just simply ask him to help me out around the house. I do have a chore list for him. And I ask him to help me with the dishes every now and again.
You got a chore list?
Yeah, yeah. I do have a chore list
I don't
form.
have one of those.
Well, they say that it's easier to ask instead of just expect. So I ask.
So you make it clear what you need.
Exactly.
So he doesn't have to guess.
Exactly. Because he always makes a statement, you don't tell me what you want. I tell you plain as day what I want. He does the same thing for me. I'm expected to cook, I'm expected to clean, I'm expected to do everything else.
Which you don't.
Anyway, it's just simple. It's simple because I just want help. I wanted him to show me that he cares enough to help me out. All he has to do, like in his eyes, is take out the trash and gardening. In his eyes, that's all he has to do as a man. His wife is expected to do everything else.
Hold on
it's
a second.
woman's work.
Mr. Vitulano, is that how you see it?
Well, I have a 50-hour-a-week full-time job as well as doing all the maintenance work at the apartment complex that we live in. So I carry 2 jobs, one of them a 50-hour-a-week job. Yes, I do expect Jennifer to help out around the house by doing the dishes, by
What
doing
dishes?
the laundry.
There is none.
Yeah, you leave them in the sink all week till we run
Josh,
out
you
of
threw
forks.
them all away.
Yeah,
You broke
that's when
every
you told
plate
me-
in the house.
Yeah, that's when you told me I needed to do the
Mrs.
dishes.
Vitulano, I think that given all the work that he does,
He didn't start that until he was working periodically. He lays carpet for a living. He was working periodically. There was days where he would have off. He wasn't doing the 50 hours a week until just recently. But I come back, I'd ask him to do the dishes. There wasn't that many in there. And I come back inside the house and there was no dishes, not in the sink, not on the strainer, but in the trash can. That was his idea of doing the dishes, was throwing them away.
She left them in the sink so long we ran out of forks.
When divorce court continues, Jennifer pours out her heart to Joshua.
You make me feel stupid. You make me feel like I'm not a human being anymore.
If you would like your case heard on Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and follow us on Twitter @DivorceCourt. Divorce Court returns with the case of Joshua Vitulano, who feels his wife Jennifer needs to let go of her insecurities. But has Joshua helped or hurt Jennifer's self-esteem?
Ms. Vitulano, what brought you here? I mean, you've been putting up with this for 5 years.
This is where I finally have gotten to my breaking point.
Mr. Vitulano, I think that she feels like you don't value her. I think that's what she feels. I think that,
I think you hit it.
And I don't know whether you do or don't.
I do.
But I
When
think
it's
that's how
convenient.
she feels. And
When
I
it's
think what
convenient.
your problem may be, no one without a little streak of jerk in them can leave their wife having been sexually assaulted and not just jump up and go. Okay? So you got a little bit of jerk in you. And I think she sees that little bit of jerk a lot. And it's changed how she feels about herself, I think. You with me?
I understand.
You know you're a little bit of a jerk, right?
I agree.
Not a little bit.
And you don't really mind. That's who you are.
Correct.
Ms. Vitulano, what brought you here? I mean, you've been putting up with this for 5 years. Why?
No, I haven't been putting up
are
for
we
5
here?
years. We've separated a few times because of the different incidents. But this was my final straw. I do have to say this, and this is where I finally have gotten to my breaking point. Okay, every time I've been with him, I've seemed to slowly lose my self-confidence and lose who I am as an individual, not just as a married couple. Every time I leave him, I get it back. I get who I am. I feel free, like not just free, but like I feel alive again.
Take a moment, Mrs. Vitulano. Turn to your left and tell your husband how he makes you feel.
You make me feel stupid. You make me feel like I'm not a human being anymore. I'm just a piece of property to you. I'm not your property. I'm supposed to be your best friend. supposed to be your confidant. We're supposed to pick each other up, not tear each other down.
Don't I take care of you all the time?
What is it he does? Does he call you names? Are you...
Case in point, we're walking to go get my check because my clutch went out. So we're walking to go get my check. Josh is a real skinny man. He's got really long legs. He walks fast, okay? He's walking, and I'm behind him some, and he's like, what are you, too fat? Come on, hurry up. Like, he calls me fat.
When divorce court continues, Joshua has a few grievances of his own.
She quit doing everything. She's gained a lot of weight. She's wearing my clothes all the time. I don't really want to, she's quit shaving. I don't really want to sleep with myself.
Divorce court returns with the case of Jennifer and Joshua Vitulano, who have endured Jennifer's harrowing kidnapping and sexual assault, only to call it quits now after 5 years of marriage.
He calls me stupid, he calls me fat.
Do you do that?
She's very insecure about all different things. When we got together...
What's it got to do with the price of tea and China? Do you call me fat or not?
Do you call her those names or don't you?
I do.
Why do you think that would be helpful?
I'm trying...
What do you think it improves? How does it help you get where you want to go?
It makes me feel better.
You know, I think that is the best answer anybody has ever given me to that question, because that's exactly what it is. You make yourself feel better at her expense all of the time, and that's why she feels the way she does.
Well, see, I feel Jennifer has given up on the relationship. When we got together, I mean, I don't want to sound rude or vain, but when we got together, she used to do her hair, she would do her makeup, she would do her nails all the time. Since we've gotten married, she quit doing her nails, she quit doing her hair, she quit doing everything. She's gained a lot of weight. She's wearing my clothes all the time. I don't really want to, she's quit shaving. I don't really want to sleep with myself.
Yeah. You know, I don't know which came first, you letting yourself go or you being mean, but I know at this juncture, it's no fun being with a jerk. And why would I want to continue to make myself better for someone who calls me, you know, a rat and fat and lazy? Why would I want to continue to open myself up for that kind of hurt? That's wasting your money. Doesn't make sense. You really want to talk about this $400? Because I know you're not going anywhere. Can I say this to you, Mrs. Vitulano? He can't respect the line you didn't draw. Do you understand what I'm saying? He can't have an argument with a person who's unwilling to engage. If you, no, let me tell you. You lean into issues with him. You say to him, I'll talk to you about it when you can talk to me nicely. And then you don't deal. You make him come to you as a man and not as a 2-year-old. You don't whine, you don't cry, you command. And you are not what other people do to you. You are not what other people say about you. You're a strong, resilient woman, and I want you to feel that way when you walk into a room, even when he's in it. And if he ain't gonna treat you right, don't take it. Don't get angry about it, but don't allow it. I'm not gonna get to this $400 because it's a waste of my time. You go home, do the right thing, you do the right thing, and if you want, lead on this one. You be better first and let her catch up. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
This matter is adjourned. There will be no recovery.
All rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
Whether or not Josh was right about the cheese or anything else doesn't matter. It was his delivery that did the damage. Constant criticism kills confidence. And once that's gone, improvement is no longer possible.
After leaving divorce court, Jennifer and Joshua decided to put their divorce on hold in order to work on their marriage. Jennifer says they are getting marital counseling through their church, and it is helping them a lot.